Americans retain the strips until much older. The white oak, of course, has the rounded leaf lobes characteristic of its group. Sinuses between lobes are deep on leaves exposed to the sun, but leaves in shade tend to have shallow sinuses to maximize photosynthetic surface area. Acorns have a shallow cap and are longer than wide. Buds are bluntly rounded, without the fine hairs that some other species.
Man kan godt drikke en enkelt øl, når man kører bil, ikke?
Jo, det kan du sagtens. Nej, det kan du helt sikkert ikke. Promillegræsen er sænket fra 0,5 til 0,2 de første 3 år, du har kørekort. Og det svarer til 0 genstand.
Skulle vi ikke danse?
Jo, det må I gerne.
Super, tak.
Such open-grown oaks can live hundreds of years, becoming massive old landmarks, like this roadside Connecticut tree with ponderous limbs that rest on the ground. The limb spread of this ancient monarch is 120 feet. That's the distance of the Wright brothers' first flight at Kitty Hawk. The trunk measures just under 21 feet in circumference. Trees like this would have been thought of as sacred to many early civilizations. Native Americans often held council under such notable spreading trees. Oak was so essential to early humans that the term druid meant oak knowledge. To shade livestock. These open-grown trees featured low, wide-spreading limbs and short, thick trunks. Another in the white oak group is the swamp white oak, a species usually found in moist bottomlands. Its young bark is similar to the eastern white oak, but gets more distinctly furrowed and ridged with age. Younger trees can look messy, cluttered with small branches. The small branches have papery, flaking bark. Leaves are often glossy on the upper surface. They have rounded lobes and very shallow sinuses. Leaves are widest near the middle. Acorns grow on short stalks, either singly or in pairs. The acorn cap has a bumpy texture and often covers half the acorn. Buds are small and rounded. An oak with a similar leaf is the chestnut oak. Its leaves tend to narrow down to more of a pointy tip than the broader swamp white oak. Chestnut oaks are found on dry upland slopes and ridgetops, not moist bottomlands like swamp whites. Bark becomes deeply furrowed and coarsely rugged looking. Young chestnut oak bark is fairly smooth, but soon builds into thick layers. Why is it called chestnut oak? Because its leaves also resemble those of American chestnut. But American chestnut leaves tend to be longer and have pointed teeth. Acorns are long and have stalks. Buds are relatively long and pointed, with no hairs. This old chestnut oak has died, but it has left plenty of offspring, sprouted from its acorns.
Idle RPG fans, pay attention. I can't stop playing Idle Planet Miner. In this game, you explore new planets, mine resources, and build your space mining empire. Upgrade your mining planets, smelt ore into valuable items, and craft amazing gear. And because it's an idle game, your empire keeps growing, even when you're not playing.
And this is one of the two oldest known chestnut oaks. At approximately 450 years old, it dates back to the 1570s. Its rugged bark was shed long ago and is now smooth again. One of the grandest of all oak species is this, the bur oak, similar to swamp white oak. Like white oak, bark on upper trunk and limbs is in flaky strips. Younger branches have corky bark ridges. Bur oaks are adapted to prairie life and are intolerant of shade. They can reach massive proportions when open grown and live hundreds of years. Leaves have rounded lobes and typically very deep sinuses below the middle. Buds are small and rounded and can have grayish, fuzzy hairs. Besides leaves, another distinctive feature is the acorn. In New England, they're not unusually large, but the cup often covers a significant portion of the nut and has a notably fringed edge. In southern parts of its range, bur oak produces the largest acorns of all native oaks, up to golf ball size. The next species in the white oak group is the chinkapin oak, sometimes called yellow oak. Leaves of chinkapin oak resemble those of chestnut oak, and its bark is similar to the eastern white oaks. Leaves have rounded lobe tips and can be confused with chestnut oak. But a peculiarity of the chinkapin oak's leaves is that their lobes have tiny glandular tips, which may help control water loss. Chestnut oak leaves do not have these glands. Acorns are longer than wide and have short stalks. Outside of New England, chinkapin oaks can get quite large. In extreme southern New England can be found post oak. Post oaks are small members of the white oak group, never attaining great size.